Hey guys, so it is Sunday night for me and I wanted to get another video done to put out during this week so you guys had something to watch while I was in Florida. And we're gonna make this shaker card. This guy's still a little wet with the Nuvo drops around the edge. So this is what we're gonna make. I did pre-do some stuff ahead of time, or pre-made, I'm sorry, to try and make this video a little bit quicker because I still have some stuff to do before I leave. So let's get started. Now that snowman came off of a woodblock stamp from AC Moore by Cam and Chloe, and I stamped this guy out on Nina 80 pound with Memento Tuxedo Black ink, and I already fussy cut it so I could save some time. We're going to color that with Copic markers. And the pattern paper we're going to be using is from the Pink and Maine Jolly paper pad. Alright, so I'm going to do a little bit of a different color scheme for this snowman, just because his pattern paper, instead of being the pink with the white snowflakes, is going to be the white with the multicolored snowflakes. I think there's red, green, blue, and pink in there. So I wanted to make sure that I got this video out, but I also wanted to make sure that I got a good night's sleep, because I'll be doing the bulk of my driving tomorrow. A lot of the image parts of this snowman are very small areas, so I won't be using more than 2 colors to shade, so it won't be too much shading. I had a busy day today, picking up the rental car, picking up my daughter so she could babysit, all kinds of stuff. I felt like I was in a different vehicle, taking turns all day long. It was insane. Alright, now if you notice the shading on this card, I did the snow underneath him in gray, and I did the icy look of him with BG11 and BG10, and I think actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the snowbank the same as the snowman, because I like that frosty, icy look that the blue-green gives. So I took the BG11. I always go with my darker first. I don't know why. It's just how I started coloring. I'm going to go in where I think there should be shading. Not too much. So I'm a little worried about this drive. You can all say a little prayer for me. Not sure if I'm gonna be able to, how many times I may have to pull over to sleep. I think tomorrow during the day I'll be fine. I just think once 11 o'clock or so hits, maybe even a little bit earlier, because I'm gonna be getting up so early, is when it's really gonna hit me. And I know I'm gonna pull over and sleep for a couple hours, at least 2 times. There's no way I'll make it through. I mean, it's supposed to be almost a 19-hour drive straight through. There's no way I can do all that straight through without getting at least a couple hours of sleep. And my sister can't help drive because she doesn't have a license anymore. I think I told you guys this, but she used to have a license long time ago when I only have 1 child and I was getting ready to get married. She was taking me to pick out wedding dresses, and we got hit on the passenger side. I ended up getting pried out with the jaws of life. Nothing happened to me except a bruise this big on my thigh, thank God, but she never drove again after that. My sunglasses were on my face and they were found 6 blocks down. Somebody actually returned them to me. Now I'm just going in with my colorless blender and trying to blend some of that color out. I don't want to get too close to the pink star buttons because I don't want it to bleed. And now we're going to do the hill. And I left just a little bit of a edge when I fussy cut, which I don't normally do. But I knew that those arms were stick thin, and I didn't want to make it so that they ripped off while I was trying to work with them. I don't normally color with Copics on 80 pound, Nina 80 pound. I usually use Spectrum Noir paper, but I just pulled this out for some reason. I already colored his nose, and I think we're gonna go with blue, green and blue for the scarf. I'm gonna use YG3 and YG9 for the greens. Sorry, as you guys know, I really can't concentrate and talk at the same time, which is why I really hope that I can get rid of a lot of those pictures soon so I can edit videos and then do the voiceovers. And these are some super tiny areas, so I'm trying not to get outside the lines, because if I use that colorless blender too much in these little tiny areas, it's just gonna bleed all over each other. I hope you guys can hear me. I'm trying to not be super loud because almost everybody's in bed, and I've got my hubby waiting for me to go to bed so we can watch a movie together before I leave tomorrow. And I've had people ask me to put up pictures, so I will definitely do that as soon as I figure out how. But I'll mess with it once I get down there. Okay, for the blue, we're gonna go with B16, if I can find it. B16 and B12. Sorry for the quiet video. I'm trying to think about what else I can update you guys on that won't distract me from the coloring. So there should be a craft show coming up soon, although I think we might have missed it. Last year I went to a craft fair with my daughter's friend's mother and sold some of my handmade cards, and I was hoping to do that this year, but it seems like it just didn't work out. Well, now I'm just going to go in with the Y9. I'm going to go in with the darker of each color and color that way. For those other two spots. I hope my head's not in the way. I'm trying not to get too close. And I already have my paper pre-cut, my pattern paper. I have my acetate pre-cut. I know what sentiment I'm going to use, and it's going to be different from the other card. And I'll show you what size oval nesting dies I use to cut the oval out and the frame that goes around the oval. Alright. And I think I'm going to go with an even darker blue for that button underneath the stars. And then go in with the B16. I went in with B26 and now I'm going in with the B16. And now we're going to do his hat. And I think I'm going to do pink on the brim and the button, or the pom-pom, to tie the stars in. And I noticed that I forgot to ice up his head and right over there on the other side of the scarf, so I'll do that in a second. Once again, I'm sorry I'm so quiet here. Oh, and I bled a little there, so I'm gonna try to, actually I'm gonna see if the green covers that up first. I don't want to use the blender there and then go in with the greens. I am by no means an expert at alcohol marker coloring, whether it's Copics or Spectrum Noirs. I'm, definitely a novice when it comes to coloring and shading. I just do what looks good to me. And I did forget a spot with the blue, so I'll have to go back in. And I was supposed to get my hair done before I left. My best friend, we trade jobs, so like I'll make her something. I've made her bingo bags and tote bags and purses, and then she does my hair because she's a cosmetologist, but she does lots of other things too. I originally met her when we were both working with kids with disabilities at a respite house, and she still does that type of work, just not for a company. She does it in-house for personal clients. Okay, so I'm going to go back in and shade these areas that I forgot about with the icy blue color. And then I'm just going to go in with the blender again. Alright, so that's it for that guy. Now we're going to start to put our card together. So I've got a cream color, ivory colored base here, top folding. And now for this guy, I cut out this oval. Now for the cutout for the shaker, I went in 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. It was the 5th oval in. And then to make the frame, I took the 3rd oval in. And the frame is light blue. And it's got a little bit of a crease in it. So I'm going to try to rub that out with the bone folder. hopefully without ripping the oval frame apart. And I already have all my sequins and seed beads that I want to put inside. I already have them all separated and on a little plastic baggie here, so that would, you know, deflate some of the time on the video. Alright, I don't want to push it, so that's good enough. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this where I want it, and then I'm going to trace a circle so that we can line it up and put that background on there right to the card base, and we'll have an easier time lining it up after the shaker's filled and we put our shaker bits in and put some foam tape on it. Alright. I got a little bit of pencil on that, so I'm just going to erase that. Alright. Now what I did do, I was thinking about it last time and I'm not sure this time either, if I was going to go with the pattern paper itself or with a solid color. But I kind of like the way the pattern paper looks after it's, you know, because it's dimensional. So I'm just going to go around this with my ATG gun. And I'll line that up. Alright, so that's lined up on there. I'm going to put the shaker bits in there. I got some little tiny Christmas trees. I got this little bottle at Target in their dollar section. I got some light pink, some light blue, some regular green sequins, some clear snowflakes, and some red seed beads. That's what I chose to go in there. And it's quite the pile, so I will be double stacking my foam tape. Alright. Just put these away. Okay, now we're going to glue our acetate on. I cut the oval to be as big as the outside frame, so I guess I would use the number 3 oval. And I'm just going to go around that with my Nuvo glue and do a thin line. Alright, put the acetate on there. And I'll put something on that so it dries quick. And then we'll stamp out our sentiment. Alright, I'm going to use scrap of the blue paper I used for the frame, and I'm going to use the sentiment off the the Stampers Anonymous set from Stamp Timber from Tim Holtz, and I'm going to use my Misty to make sure I get it printed out the right way, the way I want it. Oh, gotta take, I hardly ever use rubber stamps, so I always forget I gotta take the foam pad out. And I'm going to stamp that with some Memento Tuxedo Black ink. Now on the other one, I stamped out Walking in a Winter Wonderland, and I had actually stamped the sentiment, the same sentiment for this card ahead of time, but it was all blotchy. I don't know if I didn't clean the stamp off properly or what, so I decided to just go with a different sentiment, make them look a little different. Now, as of right now, I have 2 videos to put out for you guys during the week. I wanted to do a third, but like I said, I promised my hubby we could go watch a movie because he's got to get up early in the morning, and so do I. So I was thinking if I don't, I'm not going to have time to do a third video tonight, so maybe I can get up early in the morning and do one, so we'll see what happens. I'll let you, actually I can let you guys know when I post it. When I post this video, I'll put down in the description whether or not I was able to do a third video. Now I'm just going to clean this off real quick since we're waiting for the acetate to dry. Put that away. Alright, this should be done. That's why I used the Nuvo instead of the multimedia mat. Now we gotta glue our frame on. So I'm gonna take the frame, and it looks like I cut it a little uneven, so I'm just gonna put that part at the bottom because the snowman will cover most of it up. And I'm not gonna use that, I'm actually gonna use my glue pen. We finally got our tree all decorated. It's been up. We went and got it from the tree farm after the day after Thanksgiving. But the kids have been dragging their feet on getting all the Christmas decorations and stuff out of the basement. And we finally got it up 2 days ago, 3 days ago. I'm so psyched. I love Christmas. I love how the house is decorated for Christmas. Once I'm done buying Christmas gifts, I'm not even stressed about Christmas anymore, you know? It's just that making sure we have something enough for all the kids that stresses me out. All right, I'm just gonna put a couple heavy things on that just for a minute. We've got this all set, so we're gonna trim this guy down, our little sentiment. I'm just gonna trim it with my Fiskars paper trimmer. And there's our greeting, and I don't know, it might be too big. I might have to go around it like I did with this card and just kind of make it like its own border. We'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, so now for the foam tape. Actually, I think I'm going to glue the I glued the snowman on after last time. I think this time I'm going to glue it on ahead of time. Alright, I always hate doing little tiny spots with glue. Alright, let's glue this guy on. I think we're going to glue him off to the side, and then that way it gives us a little bit more room to play with the sentiment. So the nice thing about Nuvo Deluxe glue, and most glues, but not all glues, is it dries clear. And I just smeared a little bit of glue on the acetate, and that'll come off with a little bit of alcohol hand sanitizer. Alright, so we'll let that sit, and we'll try to play around with this. See, it takes up a lot of room. So I think we're going to cut that guy down. Greetings, sentiment surgery. You guys are probably all screaming, no, don't do it. Well, we'll soon find out. I hope it looks okay. All I know is it's definitely too big. It'll take up too much of the oval, and I don't like that. And I know that I can't do it straight, so I'm kind of just putting little curves into my cutting. And if it still doesn't look right, we could try chopping it in half. Christmas in one part and greetings in another. That's always another option. Those little G's have like pointy edges and they form a triangle. It's kind of weird. I wonder who wrote that out. Whose handwriting it is, you know. If it's somebody's handwriting at all, you never know. And my heart's going to mile a minute, and it's going, please don't screw up, please don't screw up. It's going to make the video longer. You guys are probably biting your nails on the other end here. I feel like the engine that could, the little engine that could. I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. I'm being silly tonight. The kids have me going silly. Alright, there it is. Oh, I think it looks cute. Alright. We're just going to have to be careful with him. We're going to play with him after. We're going to put the foam tape on. Got this big, huge roll of foam tape here, so I'm just going to hunk a big piece off of it and start placing. And like I said, I'm going to double it up. So I'm just going to double it up as I lay each piece down. This is why I haven't been making many shaker cards, because if I make a lot, which sometimes I do, I go through a phase where I make a lot, and when you're doubling up the foam tape so that the sequins and the little beads and stuff can flow freely in there, it uses up a lot of foam tape. But like I said, even buying 2 rolls of this U-line stuff is cheaper than buying 1 roll of the Scotch 3M foam tape. It may be thicker, but it's not that much thicker. I did have that stuff. I think I've bought it once, and I had to double up on foam tape for shaker cards with that, just like I do with this stuff, so just didn't really seem worth it to me. So I go, when I'm putting the foam tape on, I do all the long lines first. Anywhere I could possibly use the least amount at one time and the least amount of fussing around, then I do that first. Now, because I didn't cut that one completely in half, I gotta cut a whole new piece and do the same thing I did before. All right, now the other side. Oh, that one kind of looks like it'll fit. I'm gonna leave that one whole, because it looks like it's gonna fit on there. Let's see if we can do the same thing with the top here. If I can see any of it over the edges of the card front, I'll just trim it off. Alright. I'm going to cut this in half this time. And this time, to save a little bit of time, I'm going to take the backing off of one of these and stack them on top, because these are just 4 corners and I'm going to kitty corner it. Alright. So there's one corner. Two. 3. I'm just going to use this leftover piece here, and because I don't want to cut more, I'm just going to use one of these little thin guys a couple of times. Alright. Now before I go placing that on top of the card, I'm going to go over the edges with my powder tool so my beads and my sequins do not stick. And every time, let me tell you, it does make a difference even if it doesn't look like it. Because every time I forget to do this, all my stuff goes sticking to the edges and the sides, and I end up having very little that actually shakes. Okay, so let's peel off all the stuff now. That little red and white gingham pattern on the back of the snowflake pattern is kind of cute. I like it. Another one of my choices for this particular card, which I still might do when I come back, was a bright baby blue background with perfect white circles that looked like big fat snowflakes on them. And I was going to do that, but I figured I'd stick with the snowflakes this time. Alright, so we're going to place this puppy down. And I'm actually going to push up on this a little bit. A little bit of it's showing. Alright. You might see my head for a minute, guys. Alright, let's see. Some of them are still sticking. Alright, so we've got that. Now we just need our sentiment. I kind of like that, going across. I think we're going to do that. I'm just going to use a two-way glue pen, the Zig glue pen. I have one of my favorite little tools here to use whenever I can. Because even if it doesn't stick to the acetate in the center, it'll still stick to the paper on the outside edges. Alright, so we're just going to hold that down for a minute. And I'm going to get out some of the Hero Arts lacquer pen for the little snowman. What we're going to do is pom-pom. And the brim. Now I'll show you guys on the other card. I did some of the parts of the snowman with Nouveau crystal glaze, and it went outside the lines. That stuff, I love that stuff. It's all shiny and nice when it's dry, but when it's wet, it runs like water. There's like no thickness to it at all, and it's hard to keep it inside the lines of anywhere you want to put it. I mean, I know I'm going a little bit outside the lines with these stars, but that's because the nozzle's too big. It's not the lacquer itself running out. It's human error, I might say. And now I'm going to do little tufts on the edges of his scarf. And I think that's it. Maybe we'll do his nose too. Looks kind of funny between the brim of the hat without any lacquer on it. Alright guys, that's it. You can use, of course, any snowman you want, any pattern paper you want, any little inside bits you want. I hope you guys enjoy this card. I hope you have a great week. I will let you know how mine goes. If you like what you see, please subscribe and hit that notification button so you'll learn about all our giveaways. There's at least one a month. And like I said, enjoy your week, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.